Okay, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone, to the Municipality of Tweed Council meeting of today, January 13th, 2026. We always begin our meeting with our land acknowledgement. The Municipality of Tweed recognizes that our work takes place on traditional Indigenous territories, including the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We recognize and respect the history, languages, and cultures of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all Indigenous peoples whose presence continues to enrich our communities. Miigwech. Please join us now for the Singing of O Canada. O Canada, our home native land, true kindred love, was coming. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the heart we are strong and free. On far and wide Canada, we stand and are for thee. God, stand and are for thee. Oh, we stand and are for thee. Thank you, everyone. Could I have a mover and a seconder for the approval of today's agenda meeting? Thank you, Councillor Fleeler, and thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Be it resolved that the agenda for the January 13th, 2026 regular council meeting be approved as presented. All in favor? Oh my gosh, excuse me. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. Could I have a mover and a second for the adoption, firstly, of the, well, I guess both sets of minutes. Minutes from our December 9th, 2025 regular council meeting and our December 11th, 2025 budget meeting. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Any comments on any of those two items?
Your worship, we deferred the decision regarding the Chisholm property up here. Could we organize some staff so we can have a meeting with Conservation Authority?
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Through the mayor, the plan is to have the Conservation Authority to present to council at the next regular council meeting. And as of today, we've offered the invitation to Ainley Group, the owner's consultant, to also come and present probably at a subsequent council meeting after that. So those information opportunities are coming for council.
Okay. We did have a meeting with Mr. McNiven, and we did talk about that. But as Lucas mentioned, that we have something in works to bring it back.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, be it resolved that the minutes of the December 9th, 2025 regular council meeting and the minutes of the December 11th, 2025 budget meeting be adopted as presented. All in favor? Firstly, I'd just like to note that Councillor Valiquette expresses his regrets. His mother had surgery today, and so he was with her. And all has gone well. I just received a text. I will move on to my mayor's remarks. Happy New Year, fellow Tweedites. We hope you enjoyed a fun-filled holiday season, and we are looking forward to embracing 2026 with optimism and renewed energy. I would like to begin by congratulating Christina Fleeler on winning the adult coloring contest. Councillor Fleeler claimed that he actually did the coloring for Christina, but when I contacted her directly, she advised me that Councillor Fleeler still struggles to color between the lines. I also want to sincerely thank our Public Works Manager and our roads crew for their tireless efforts during the recent ice storm. Please note that our road crews continue to go above and beyond. We are extremely fortunate to have such a dedicated team serving our community. They get the flu just like everyone else, and it has been a wicked winter. Contrary to some of the Facebook posts and other commentary, the municipality did not cancel any snow removal contracts. The contractor, currently engaged, continues to provide certain services. However, they were unable to provide the same number of pieces of snow removal equipment as they did last year. Many of you may have heard that about Calgary experiencing yet another main water break. The full story has been included under Mayor Information items. Crumbling infrastructure is not unique to large urban centers. In fact, it is often more acute in small rural communities. Federal and provincial governments must recognize that municipalities cannot address these challenges on their own. We can no longer absorb 100% of the costs. We need a national infrastructure renewal program, one that recognizes the vast impact on small rural and northern municipalities with their limited tax bases and extensive asset portfolios. On December 11th, Council held its first 2026 budget meeting with a focus on capital projects. That same evening, we hosted our staff and committees of Council Christmas party. I want to note that this event was paid for by Council as a small gesture of appreciation for the dedication and professionalism shown by our staff and Council committee volunteers throughout the year. On December 22nd, I was interviewed by John Spitters from Quinte News. On the evening of December 30th, I joined Tessa Breen and Sue McCowan from Community Care Central Hastings as we packaged and distributed beef stew dinners complete with rolls on a pay-what-you-can basis. I truly enjoyed working alongside these two remarkable women and witnessing firsthand the compassion they bring to our community. On January 1st, I attended the Legion's New Year's Levy, joined by Deputy Mayor DeMarsh and Councillors Fleeler and Valiquette. On January 6th, CAO Diski, Deputy Clerk Wales, and I met with Brad McNiven, Executive Director of Quinte Conservation. Mr. McNiven wished to revisit comments I made during our previous council meeting regarding Quinte Conservation. It was a candid and constructive exchange. I appreciate Mr. McNiven's complete honesty and full transparency. I assured him that I would be supporting tonight's resolution advocating for a local conservation authority. On January 12th, CEO Diski and I met with Staff Sergeant Trudeau. Our working relationship with the OPP detachment is strong. Staff Sergeant Trudeau and his team are deeply committed to our community, and we are grateful for the professionalism and cooperation they demonstrate every day. Returning to the issue of infrastructure, as Ontario continues to experience growth and increasing demand for safe and resilient systems, the absence of a coordinated long-term funding strategy for small rural and northern municipalities has brought many communities to a breaking point. The infrastructure cost we face is no longer hypothetical or distant. It is immediate, measurable, and increasingly dangerous. Municipal infrastructure failures are no longer a question of if, but when. Deferred maintenance, aging bridges, deteriorating roads, and water systems pushed beyond their intended lifespan pose real public safety concerns. The consequences of inaction are not theoretical. They include the potential for injury, loss of life, and long-term economic harm. No government wishes to bear the responsibility for such outcomes, yet without decisive investment, that risk continues to grow. For years, small rural and northern municipalities have raised concerns, commissioned studies, updated asset management plans, and made difficult local decisions. Still, the scale of the problem far exceeds what property taxpayers alone can reasonably manage. Addressing this crisis will require courage, political resolve, and honest conversations about shared responsibility across all levels of government. Avoiding these conversations only deepens the challenges we are already living with. That is why the municipality of Tweed has arranged 6 delegations at this year's Roma conference. In January, we'll be meeting with Minister Todd McCarthy, Acting Minister of Infrastructure and Minister of Environment, Conservation and Parks, Solicitor General Kersner, Associate Minister Graydon Smith, Municipal Affairs and Housing, MPP Stiles, Leader of the Opposition and the NDP Caucus, Bonnie Crombie, Leader of the Liberal Party and her caucus, MPP Schreiner, Leader of the Green Party. With Minister McCarthy, we will discuss our infrastructure challenges and priorities. With Solicitor General Kersner, we will focus on escalating OPP costs and our proposal to temporarily repatriate those costs during this period of uncertainty, with the requirement that any savings be reinvested directly into municipal infrastructure. With Associate Minister Smith, we will highlight our financial constraints and present a proposal to support small rural housing developers. All three opposition parties will receive a comprehensive briefing on our challenges and both proposals, as we believe it is important that all parties operate from the same baseline when considering future funding decisions. Once again, I have reached out to Premier Ford. On January 3rd, 2025, I sent the following text. Good evening, Premier Ford. I will be attending this year's Roma conference and no doubt will have the pleasure of hearing your address once again. I'm hoping we might find time 10 minutes to meet. I'm following up on my October 23rd text and would appreciate the opportunity to briefly discuss two proposals I previously forwarded for your consideration. I understand you have made yourself available to mayors during Roma, and I'm hopeful you might extend the opportunity to me. The proposals are titled Proposal to Support Small Rural and Northern Housing Developers and Repatriation of OPP Costs for Small Rural and Northern Communities during this period of uncertainty. Both offer an opportunity for the province to partner with small rural Ontario while addressing the housing crisis, responding to infrastructure challenges, and supporting the Ontario steel industry through a Buy Ontario approach. I would welcome the opportunity to discuss the merits of both proposals while in Toronto. Mayor Don DiGenova. I am happy to report that the Premier returned my call on January 7th. He asked that I identify my top 3 priorities, and he would have the respective ministers reach out to me. I noted my delegations at Roma, and at this time, hope to have my bases covered. I noted that I would report back to him. I thank you, Premier Ford, for reaching out. In closing, Council and staff wish everyone a new year filled with new adventures, many smiles, abundant happiness, good health, and good fortune. Happy New Year. Thank you. Okay, moving on to delegations. Surprise, surprise, we have Graham Cupstick back with us. And if you all remember, Graham came to us a number of months ago. He was to be the new enterprise facilitator for Hastings County, but has since moved on and is now the executive director at Trenvale Corporation. I attended their last AGM and was thoroughly impressed with what they are doing down there. And now Graham has reached out to us and to me and asked if he could come and share another project that he is working on. It's going to mirror, I'm hoping, the enterprise facilitation program, since that initiative basically has fallen through with Hastings County at this time. Anyway, Graham, I'm going to call you up to the podium and just turn on, I think, is your mic on? It is?
Is the mic on?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and welcome. And we look forward. I've had the privilege of discussing this with you, but I'm glad that you're here to share it with the rest of council and our municipality.
Thank you, Mayor DiGenova, and through you, thanks to council for having us here tonight. It's nice to see you all again. So not just myself tonight, we also have Amy Rushlow, our Office and Communications Administrator, with us to help walk through some of the granular details of what we're here to discuss tonight. So I'll just provide a quick overview just to sort of set the stage. So as Mayor DiGenova had mentioned, I'm now the Executive Director of Trenvale Business Development Corporation. For those that are unaware, that is a not-for-profit on Loyalist Campus in the Pioneer Building. For those that may be familiar with QEDC, we're in the same small hallway as Chris King there. So what is Trenvale? So we offer 2 programs, one of which is more synonymous with the name Trenvale, but that is the Community Futures Program, funded by the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario, FedDev for short. And what we do on the Community Futures side is we have national exposure, 267 locations across the country, and we support small, medium-sized enterprise entrepreneurs through access to capital. funding. And really what that comes to life as is loans primarily for the most part. And so if you do go out and talk to people that have exposure to Trendval, specifically the Community Futures program, they're likely going to know us from a loans capacity. But that's not necessarily what we're here to talk about tonight, because we do offer that second program that I had mentioned, and that is the Small Business Center program. This is ministry funded, so through MedCat, Ministry for Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade. And reflective of Mayor DiGenova's introduction, it is reflective of the small business coach role that I had for Hastings County. And so a few differences though, and I'll let Amy talk about what those are, but just to focus on the fact that because there are two different programs, two different funding structures, we do have two different boundaries. And that is why we're here talking specifically about the Small Business Center and not both programs in conjunction, because this area is covered by Mary Lynn in North Hastings Community Future. So just wanted to give you a little bit of context overarchingly about the organization that we have here. And Amy is going to walk you through some of the granularity of the Small Business Center, and then I'll close out with giving you a little bit of a vision for the future reflective of Mayor DiGenova's sentiment.
Welcome, Amy. I went to school with your mom, Mary.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
she's not my mom.
Oh, she's not your mom?
My mom's Jennifer.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And Jennifer who's her mom?
Gloria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought
Lots
maybe.
of us Rushlows around
Oh,
for
okay,
sure.
okay. Anyway, yes, welcome.
Thank you.
Valley of
Thank
Tweed.
you, Mayor and Council, for having us today. I'm super happy to be here to share more about the Small Business Center. So as Graham mentioned before, we're located in the Pioneer Building at Loyalist College, and we're one of 54 small business enterprise centers across the province that are all funded through MedCat. Our regions for our center cover Belleville, Quinte West, Prince Edward County, Hastings County, and Lennox and Addington. So we're kind of in like a central location for all of our catchment area, and we probably have one of the largest catchment areas across the entire network. So that's pretty exciting. My name is Amy. I'm the Office and Communications Administrator, and my job is to take care of all of our events. So we do 4 events a year, along with educational opportunities and workshops for small businesses. I also take care of all of our social media and e-news and client intake and outreach, as well as our summer company grant program, which I'll share more about in the next slide. And our team is pretty small. We are currently hiring for a small business center operations manager, but I'll let Graham talk more about that when we get into the strategic intent later. So as you might see up here, these are some of our success stories that we've had the pleasure of working with these clients. You might be familiar with some of them. A lot of them are from the Belleville and Quinte West area, with the exception of Mac Attack Outdoors. They're located in Hastings. We were super excited to work with all different kinds of entrepreneurs, business ideas. We really want to empower people's business journeys from start to succession. And we hope to have more success stories from Tweed and our other municipalities in our catchment area in the near future. So here's more of an overview of what I do. I organize our events. So we run 4 events a year, as well as all of our outreach. So you can see us at career fairs, as well as all of our workshops and online. I will say our biggest event of the year is coming up. It's for International Women's Day, and that'll be held on Thursday, March 5th, 2026, and everyone is welcome to attend. More details to come. So more about our grant programs. We run 2 grant programs through the Small Business Center. One is our Starter Company Plus grant, and that's the more well-known one. It is for new and expanding businesses to receive up to $5,000 in funding for any any type of startup expenses. So like marketing expenses, equipment, training, stuff like that. And we work with the recipient with a mentor. We assign them a mentor, and we have a comprehensive like training and mentorship component to the program along with the funding. The second is our summer company grant, and that's a grant for up to $3,000 for students age 15 to 29 returning to school in the fall to sort of encourage them to choose entrepreneurship opposed to part-time employment over the summer. I had the pleasure of working with a group of 5 really great students this past summer, and I learned a lot, and there's a lot of really ambitious youth out in the community, so that was really nice. And this is just sort of, we do, oh, I guess I missed our advisory services, one of our key offerings. So we do offer one-on-one advisory services. And this is sort of an overview of what we can help you with. We can help you with your business planning as well as like right through till succession. And we really want to let entrepreneurs know that we are there through every step of the way. A lot of times, entrepreneurs come to us in a state of panic or worry, but we want to also see them when they're thriving and growing their business, so that we can help them to scale and get ready to take the next steps in their business as well. So yeah. Yeah, and I'll give it back to Graham. Thank you.
So Amy, how would they go about contacting you?
For sure. Thank you. So our contact information is on the slide here. We can be reached through email at info@smallbusinessctr.com, as well as our phone number is 613-961-0590, and it'll be me answering the phone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amy, for such a thorough overview of SBC. So just to kind of wrap it up for everyone, I just want to touch on what our vision for the future is and a little bit of the journey that has led us back to speaking to you all. In coming in as a new leader, as you can all imagine, there was a little bit of an environmental scan done to understand how we're serving the communities under our mandate, and is there any white space for scaling that service, and just trying to understand, are we operating at our maximum capacity, ensuring that we are having the impact that we expect of ourselves within our respective communities? And we do a good job, and the track record was strong. But for those who have been to the Small Business Center, it is largely a walk-in centric sort of experience. And how that contrasts, the last time I was here with you was as an enterprise facilitator. You are very much out in the community, building ties within the community from a ground up grassroots perspective, and also reaching out to respective municipalities to ensure that we understand what your regional initiatives are. Why do we do those two things? So that we can ensure that we understand what your strategic intent is as it relates to SMEs, small, medium-sized enterprise, and we can distill that through in terms of the coaching that we provide to folks within your respective municipalities. So actually translating it to economic development KPIs, as opposed to just providing the metrics required by the ministry in terms of inquiries, meeting with small startups, expanding businesses. So what we are looking to do as we start the search for a new manager is have somebody who's able to have the scalability in terms of seeing the vision for us from a growth perspective. This would be a net new position for the Small Business Center, but not one for you. You all have experienced it through me and through my predecessors through the Hastings County role. What we want to do is bring that in under the house of Small Business Centers so that we can provide more pointed guidance, a little bit more one-on-one time within the communities. As you can imagine, being in Belleville and considering the population density, it's not a lot of incentive to get out and go beyond Quinte West or Belleville. We want to be present in your communities, in Bancroft, out in Lennox and Addington. And so we are looking at our service model and trying to understand, are we able to bring something to market where we scale the impact that we provide, not only to you, but to all the other municipalities within our footprint, right? And so this is the first step in going out, ensuring that people know exactly what we do and actually being able to provide a little line of sight as to what the vision is. And so once we have that person in the role, which we're currently taking applications for, that's closing at the end of next week. I'll be looking to onboard them and quickly get their input on how we bring a enterprise facilitator-esque sort of role to life, because the lack of presence within Hastings County at large is not the only place that they're feeling sort of that lack of presence. It's also Lennox and Addington, and to a degree, Prince Edward County as well, right? And so we want to make sure that we're servicing all of the different communities within our footprint. And that's the first step, is by having that additional body that hasn't previously existed, and having that body that's in a role that contrasts the approach to the formal small business manager. And so while they're operating in synergy, they are taking a defined different approach. And so what I think that will do is allow us to have more brand awareness within the communities, play a better educational role, and support folks like you who are out there trying to figure out how to improve your own respective municipalities. And so we look forward to working more with you as time goes on. We did bring a little bit of swag that you can leave out should you want to, some small business center pens and glasses. And I believe we also have some handouts, thanks to Cindy, that have already been put at the front, but we've also brought some additionals, plus some flyers. And so if anyone is looking for more information, or if you know anyone, please take them, pass them along. We're happy to talk to anybody, and we look forward to scaling our service impact within your communities. Thank you.
So Graham, so you're saying that your reach is Quinte West Belleville, Prince Edward County, Hastings County, and Lennox and Addington?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's quite a large region, which is why a different service model needed to be explored. Frankly, it's too much for one person, even with the walk-in traffic for Belleville and Quinte West, which means that we're not going to have presence within Hastings County at large.
No.
And Lennox and Addington as well. So ideally speaking, Mayor DiGenova, we would get to a point where we have this enterprise facilitators who is able to have office hours 1 day a week, somewhere, maybe 1 day in Hastings, maybe it's 1 week in Tweed, for instance, another week in Bancroft, and then move over and have office hours in Lennox and Addington, and so on and so forth, so that we have that in-person representation that is accessible, ideally in a walking capacity within the communities that they're in.
Are you considering the creation of a resource board, or?
Oh, yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. So one thing, Mayor DiGenova, especially considering the resource board that we had here in Tweed that I was privileged to go to, is one of my key learnings and takeaways was a resource board has to operate at a hyper-localized level for it to be of benefit, especially within rural communities. We can't have a resource board in Tweed and have people from Bancroft driving down. It's not feasible. We need to have those microcosms of resources boards within small areas that are more accessible for folks. And so, yes, it's not just one resource board.
Could be a series, okay.
It could be a series, and that's going to be completely dependent on our staffing and what we're able to accomplish from a bandwidth perspective. But it is very much in our line of sight, and it's something for us to aspire towards.
Okay. Well, as you're aware, I'm the chair of county planning,
Mhm.
and reporting to county planning is also Hastings County Economic Development. I would recommend that perhaps you approach Justin Harrow and give a similar type speech to Hastings County when all the counselors are there, so that we can all learn from what you've just shared with us today.
That would be a privilege and an honor, and we'd be very much looking forward to that. And so we'll follow up on that.
Okay. Any questions of Graham and Amy? No? Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you both coming here, especially an evening meeting. Have a good evening.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, moving along, could I have a mover and a seconder table the Chief Administrative Officer's update as of January 13th, please? Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Palmetier. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh. I'm just going to ask the CAO, is there anything in particular that you would like to point out from your report? Sorry.
I think I'm on now. So through the chair, thank you and Happy New Year, everyone. Excited to be starting a new year here in Tweed with lots of opportunity ahead of us. Just from my report, a few things I wanted to bring forward. The Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks has accepted our plan to close Hunt Road Waste Site. So that means that we have to be completed by the end of 2028. This will allow us to skip a few steps based on our readings at our dump site. So we don't have to set up the CAZs, which are the contamination attenuation zones. So this is an opportunity for us to save some money and to move forward and remove this liability from our ledger. Secondly, the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing has informed us that we're eligible to get up to about $11,000 in assistance for the municipal ice storm. They will be sending us a first installment of $3,575. So they're still reviewing our application, but have indicated that we could qualify for up to $11,000. Third, on December 15th, Quinte Conservation Authority has, based on flow rate of surrounding streams and precipitation in the area, that we are moving from a level 2 low water condition to a level 1 water condition. So that's very good news. So what that indicates is that the ground is absorbing more water. And I think one of the key things, and you can observe it when you're driving around the municipality, is the flow rate of our streams. It's been noticeable that they have improved. So that's very good news for us moving into the new year. And last, I just want to echo what Mayor DeGenova mentioned in his mayor remarks. I just wanted to thank our Public Works Manager, Ryan Reed, our Public Works Supervisor, Trevor Prevost, and of course, our Public Works Foreman, Jordan Newman, for their hard work, dedication, long days, long spells. Some of our staff have been working 16 to 18 days straight without relief. So I just wanted to ensure that they are recognized for their dedication to our community, keeping our community safe, and keeping our roadways clear. So thank you to Ryan and his team.
Thank you. Any questions of the CAO? Seeing none, all in favor? Now, could I have a mover and a seconder to table the 2026 user fee review, please? Mover and a seconder. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Palmetier. Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarche. Over to you, CAO Diskey.
Okay, and through the chair again, thank you. This is a report that will coincide with our budget process. I guess obviously there's a proper order to do things, so we are looking at our user fee review. The user fees, some of them have been introduced. Part of them are from our Spark agreement with the county regarding our planning fees. We have added a few small increases to road permits and to the waste site, a few changes there. None of these fees are huge. They're very modest. Some of them take effect on January 1st. Others, such as the recreation fees, will take effect in September. We try to ensure to staff that we are giving proper notice to our user groups to ensure that when they do registration fees, they're able to cover their budgets and their fees for these recreation facilities that we provide. So again, just emphasizing their modest increases. They will have a slight positive impact on our budget, but it's nothing greater than inflation or, like I said, very modest to help us sustain our service levels.
Thank you. Any questions? Excuse me, yes, Deputy Mayor DeMarche.
To the mayor, I had a few questions on this. So the number one that stuck out to me was the brush fees. And it does seem like a bit of a jump on, but anyways. My concern with raising the fees too high is that all of a sudden you get burning in backyards when burning's not permitted. And I worry that instead of dumping it responsibly, that we're gonna have other issues somewhere else. So whether we make the money with the user fees or we're paying fire department personnel to go out there and deal with this is a big concern for me. So I feel that, you know, that the 325 load for residential is sufficient, and it may be $20 for a dump truck, so that would exclude most of residential. So, the other question I had was regarding the reduction of some of the the zoning changes and stuff like that. Now, I know we're using Spark and I was wondering, you know, are we gonna incur any extra costs from the Hastings County budget because of the incorporation of Spark that's gonna come back to us? So I wanna make sure that we cover that as part of our equation as well, so. It's like we're reducing here, but are we paying for it on the other side? If you know what I mean. So. Those are the question. The other one was, Prime Time Marina rental, I see it stayed the same, the rest increased by about $5 maybe. Is an increase by the same amount, is that somebody another $5, is that something that? You know, with the arena cost going up. Is that something to? I mean, maybe that's it, I'm just saying what I see. One last one I saw was municipal consent fee, I thought there was room on that one too, because. The corporation's asking for a lot of time of our staff to oversee this stuff, and I thought we had to move to 750. That was all I had.
Any other questions, comments? Oh, yes.
I had a few notes in there, but I've just lost it, but. Anyway. Where we have taken out some of the fees, I like the zoning issues and this kind of thing, minor variance, all this thing, I think it was. I don't agree with that.
So it's all relation to our new arrangement with Spark though as well. And we already approved that.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, I lost
Let me
it,
see,
but,
give it to me when you continue.
and like Deputy Mayor DeMar says, if we increase certain things too high, and I think Counselor Palmer's reflected on that a few times as well, that we would get people won't participate. They'll participate along the edge of the road, like for brush and different things like that. But I do agree that we need to increase the brush costs because of the hours involved in getting rid of the brush. And I don't know what's going on.
That's okay, go ahead.
That thing has driven me nuts for the last 2.5 years. Can you notice?
It's okay. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, like the minor variance, we're gonna put that down to $300 without, like, like Mayor DeGenova stated that that's part of the deal we've already signed, so. If we're in it.
Go ahead, Lucas, please.
So, yeah, through the mayor, part of the agreement with Hastings County and Spark, there's user fees on both ends. There's county fees and there's municipal fees. And as we shift some of the workload to the county office out of our office, the reduction in fee from our office is to reflect the reduced cost that it costs us to produce each file, to make it not only fair to the applicant, but fair to everyone else, so that the rest of the tax base isn't subsidizing planning files. So the reason it's being reduced is that our in-house staff capacity is also being reduced. So the new fee reflects the value of work that the municipality puts into each file, essentially.
See, basically, the county has taken over some of that work that we no longer have to do.
So understandably, it'll be less office time here, but is that gonna be the case? Because other issues, we've got provincial agencies that won't, they like the livestock fees, they only give us $50 every time. I mean,
I think though, one thing that works to our benefit, this whole program's under review for a year.
okay.
And like the people can make comments and changes and whatnot if it's not working. But yes, go ahead. I agree with you on that $50 one though.
Oh, yeah. And I also look at this yard sale permit, so if the fees just continue, do we even need to notify you that we have a yard sale?
That was a question. When I'm reviewing my bylaws this year, we do have a yard sale bylaw that people would still have to come in and get a permit to have a yard sale. There just wouldn't be any fee involved. So it would be up to council if they'd like to rescind the bylaw and not have any regulation over yard sales at all.
Why did we do that? Is it,
I wasn't here when it was implemented, but my understanding is that it was a way to avoid people having constant yard sales, like weekend after weekend. There was a limit of 3 in the bylaw.
Okay.
So not to have like a permanent sale at your yard or something to that effect.
okay. Yes, Deputy Mayor DeMarch, thank you.
I was
Clerk
just looking
Flaherty.
at my notes and I missed that note about the yard sales. I agree, it's onerous, that whole thing, and nobody was doing it anyways, but I think maybe we should look at that bylaw and make sure it's worded in a way that they can't have a constant yard sale, like, I mean, there's only to kind of, so we know that they're having 2 or 3, whatever, but I mean, half the people they can get it, but I think that's something we should take a look at, it's a bylaw.
Okay. Any other questions? Nope, yeah.
Yeah, just briefly, I don't know if there's a reason we haven't moved up primetime ice. I've always, I don't know if we're afraid of deterring groups, but I've always been big on the working people, the adults are the ones who should take the increase and try to keep the youth involved in community as much as anything. I don't think, not all the kids are going to the National Hockey League, so it's important to keep them a part of the community. So I'd rather see primetime bear the increase more than the youth, but I don't know if we have seen groups pull back as we've increased recently.
There's Hunter Mice, Melville, a few other municipalities within Hudson County, and it seems quite in line with what everybody seems to be charging. We just thought a modest increase of the youth rate would just make a bit of a difference. We didn't want to increase both rates at the same time. We can revisit what all the other municipalities are charging maybe next year for adult primetime use. And
Sure.
see.
That's
But-
fine. I just wondered if we had seen, because we did increase it a lot 2 years ago, I believe it
Yeah.
was. And I didn't know if we had seen a big pullback from the user groups or not.
No, it's been steady. We've had about 60 sort of bookings a week. So it's been relatively the same.
Okay, and then I was just the same as everyone else with the brush, just concerned about it getting too high. But I also don't, staff has a better idea of what it's costing us.
Mhm. Yes, Brian.
Through the mayor to council, just as example, the stack of brush we got out there this year, we got a quote, get rid of it. It's gonna be about $18,000 to grind all that up. It's kind of at the point now where it's too big to burn it. And for us to pick through it constantly, that's a lot of staff time. And there's just that concern with that fire, so.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Councillor Fleeler.
Your worship, to the roads manager. So would that be the top grinder? Okay, that's correct. Yeah.
So just your worship, with that, we did used to burn the brush. Was the issue just running into the seasonality of it this year and how we ran into a burn ban so early?
I don't want to get into the kind of the logistics of what we did in the past, but when we have these fires, they have to be manned 24/7. So you have to put that thing out every night. And when a fire that big kind of gets going, it's tricky to, put something like that out, especially with the amount we got there and just the overall safety factor of it. It's something we should look at tub grinding, then maybe possibly doing a free giveaway day for that kind of material to citizens, and then we can get rid of some of that stuff at our dump too, so.
Okay, your worship should, through the mayor, to the manager, is there a benefit to us if it comes in already chipped?
Through the mayor to councillor, Palmetier, yeah, it would be a benefit if it's chipped, because we would use it as cover, and then we don't have to go through that process. It would be a cost savings.
So if it was chipped, would we accept it? I don't know if, maybe that's setting a bad precedent, accepting it free or accepting at a discount or something.
That could be an option for sure.
It might save us time, and maybe there'd be people that would be more apt to, you know, if they hire someone to come and remove dangerous trees, they might spend the extra little bit of money to get them to chip it before it leaves. That's just a thought.
Sure. Okay. Any other questions? So how do we want to proceed here? There's been a number of suggestions. As you said, this is a preliminary. We do have a lot of inclement weather anymore. I mean, like, you know, bad winds, ice storms, a lot of brush, a lot of, so we have to take all that into account too. Now, some of this is also, and the emergency preparedness, they often have funding and whatnot. We haven't been too successful. I see Limerick was successful. They just got these drones paid for by the emergency preparedness. Is this something that we could do to say, to try and mitigate fire and whatnot, and responding to brush, and that is putting forth this grinder? Like, do we have that grinder, or do we rent that grinder?
To the mayor, that's something we would have to contract out.
But so if we put forth and had something like that for ourselves, would that help alleviate some of that cost as well, if it was covered?
Through the mayor, for sure. It would save us a huge cost. Where I was previously, we'd send a couple guys out once a week, you know, depending on how much brush is there, we'd do it ourselves. And then at the end of the year, we wouldn't have this $18,000 hit every year. And it is brought forward in the capital budget for one of these units. So just something to think about.
Okay. Yes, Councilor Flynn.
Your worship, it kind of confuses me, the size of a chipper. Like, if we don't get a substantial size chipper, I don't think it would stand up. I don't think it would last. Like there's some of those big Vermeer chippers out there. You can stick a railroad tie in it, and it'd just chew her up like wasn't even there. But that would be upwards of a couple $100,000, I think.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify too. We're not putting forward a tub grinder, sorry. We're putting forward a chipper this year. The chipper that I would recommend is a BC 1000. So it's a standard Hydro 1 chipper. We would have to there'd be training involved of what can go through it, what we can chip, what we can't, to kind of maximize longevity out of this unit. So there would be, you know, training involved with getting something like that and putting the proper material through it.
Okay, well, again, going back, that there's a number of things. We should always keep it open with emergency preparedness when they do their next intake. And that is one thing, like, you know, if we can get funding to help alleviate some of these costs, that would be great. The other thing that we've been lobbying for are generators for our community halls. And we've not been successful in that regard as well. So maybe if we get a chance at Roma, we should meet with, if you can make a note of that, we can meet with VP Brezzi and sort of talk about some of these other things. Okay, so where do we stand here? Do you take into account some of this and then come back with, you know, after you look into more on what people have been suggesting here, and then come back when we do our next budget meeting with a updates or changes to the user fee schedule? Is that okay?
Through the chair, you can refer this back to staff and we can bring an update back either at the budget meeting or the next meeting.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, did we go back here to the? Okay, be it resolved that council receive the 2026 user fee review report as presented, and further that staff consider the amendments to the user fee schedule as suggested by council be brought forward at the budget meeting on February 12th for further consideration. All in favor? Thank you. Can I have a mover to seconder to table the Public Works Manager update, please? Mover to seconder. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Over to you, Ryan.
There's just one thing I'd like to kind of focus on in this report. It's just our comparative numbers from year to year, last year at this time to this year at this time. Just in total, we put out 603 tons of material at this time last year. This year, we're up to 1,200 tons. This is per truck. That same truck last year only ran 86 hours at this time. It's currently up to almost 250 hours at this time. This is just due to the change in what we've seen with snow removal and the busy winter this year. I'd also again mimic the mayor and Ron there, sorry, our CAO, and thanking our guys for the long hours they put in. It's not an easy job. It's a thankless job, and just like to extend my gratitude. One other thing we did hear back from, it's not on the report, but we have Hydro One starting next Monday to relocate these poles, and then the bridge company is coming in the following week to start moving on this. So
Thank you. I mean, the way the weather is, you know, it's like, you know, minus 25 and the next day it's plus 12. Like, you know, I don't know how you guys are able to manage all of this, and then with melt and then freezing and whatnot, you've done a great job. I was happy to see that the banks were removed on the streets. Good for you for getting that done as well. I mean, you're doing the best you possibly can, and I hope people realize that the hours that you guys are putting in. And thank you so much for everything. Any questions or comments? Yes, Councillor Fleeler.
Your worship, I come in to Tweed to the roads manager, and I noticed that the big green machine was blowing the snow, so that was Palmateer's unit?
That's correct.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, and were they operating that unit for us?
Yes.
So we do still work with them where we can. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, be it resolved that council receive the Public Works Department update report as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the Community Development Parks and Recreation update, please? A mover and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Over to you, Cindy.
Happy New Year, Mayor and Council. Are there any questions? Do you have any questions or comments about our,
So, just let me go through here again.
we are going to be hosting.
Please go ahead, Deputy Mayor Marsh.
Through the mayor, Cindy, I was just kind of trying to read between, is there that rehabilitation task force, is it ended now?
No, it hasn't ended. We just took a pause in the fall,
Okay,
just because everybody's schedules got busy, but we're gonna reconvene in a couple of weeks
okay,
and discuss our goals and how we're gonna move forward this year.
okay, very good, thank you.
I want to also thank you for how you capitalized on that funding we received from the feds. You've done an amazing job in
Thank you.
the visibility for this municipality, whether it be through the grapevine articles or attending different events, representing us. You've done a great job. I want to commend you for that, because I know you have you have done an amazing job, period. I mean, what you have undertaken, you and Brittany, it's exciting for our municipality. I don't know how you do it, but you are, and you're doing a great job of it. So thank you very much. You're making us look really good. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mayor.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, so we close this. Be it resolved that council receive the Community Development and Parks and Recreation update as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the visitor service proposal from the Tweeden Area Heritage Center, please? Mover and a seconder. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Over to you, Cindy.
Yes, so this is a proposal from the Tweed Historical Society and Tweeden Area Heritage Center. They have expressed interest in assuming visitor services and responsibilities over at the jailhouse. This would be only for a one-year term, a trial term for 2026. And the society believes that it aligns with their mandate, and that they would love to take it on and do a trial run for 2026. That would mean year-round access to the jailhouse for tours. It would also mean full-time, they will be at the jailhouse for peak periods of the summer, so June, July, and August. So we will have the same sort of, I guess, same sort of representation there as a summer student that we normally would have a summer student there for.
Well, thank you. It looks like we saved some funds in this proposal, and they are eager to want to undertake this. And I think it's wonderful that the Tweeden Area Heritage Center is feeling comfortable enough that, like, they want to undertake additional role, and I'm fully behind it if they would like to do it. Any other comments? Seeing none, okay. Be it resolved that council receive the report as presented, and further that council accept this proposal from the Tweed Historical Society and Tweeden Area Heritage Center, and further that the CAO be authorized to execute an agreement regarding the proposal with the Tweed Historical Society and Tweed Area Heritage Center. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a movement and a seconder to table the fire department update of January 13th, 2026, please? Can I have a movement and a second? Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Over to you, Derek.
Evening, Mayor and Council, and Happy New Year. The department, we've had a busy 2025, our kind of record of calls for us. We've had a lot in the last year. Training as well has been one of the things we're starting here in January the 19th. We're starting our new a hazmat course, or an in-house learning contract, and our instructor one are one of the first two. We have, I think, 5 slated for before the certification is finished in July. So Rich is going to be quite busy, and our gang has been quite busy. They've been putting a lot of time into it. Pretty thankful for the dedication stuff that they've put towards working between both departments are doing the training back and forth, and that's it's been going very, very well, and we're in pretty good shape. By the time we get done these training here, we'll have pretty much trained up for us. There'll be a few stragglers, but we're pretty good shape with that. That's a big commitment from them, like I said, but it's been good. And the good news, we did get a grant from our fire protection grant. We've got they bumped it up here, doubled it this year from last year, or actually over doubled it for the single stations. So they said we've got 19,626.05, which we did a joint effort to buy our new decon washer, which we're pretty excited about getting. It's like an over $50,000 machine, and we're going to have enough money to pay for it between the two departments. So it's pretty exciting for us, because it's one of the biggest things. We will come back from a fire and you get an air pack and stuff and helmets and that, we can't wash them very well. We spray them off as best as you can. They're hard to clean and whatever. And with our new drying equipment and stuff, we should be able to put them through the machine. We can do 2 every 8 minutes. So it's pretty exciting. We'll have it set up, and then hopefully next year we can, by it sounds by Minister Krisner from at our conference, that they're trying to get again this next year, and hopefully we'll get a second one for here. And it'll be pretty exciting for us to have that to speed up after a call, because that's one of our biggest problems, is that we can't turn gear over after a call. It takes so long to wash them. The biggest thing is not the washing, is the drying. It takes so long to dry them, and now we have our new cabinet dryer and our other dryer, so we should be able to turn the gear over within kind of a little over a day. So that's better than it used to take us over 3 days to turn our gear after a big fire. So we'll have gear ready to go within about 8 hours after. So we're pretty excited about that. And with this new washer, with the thing, it's just a big time difference to be able to wash our helmets, gloves, boots, all that stuff will be able to be going this decon washer. So we're pretty excited about that. And it's just one of the biggest things for our guys' safety and protection, to get rid of the contaminants and stuff, and prevent cancer prevention. And we're pretty thankful to get that for the guys, that's for sure. So,
well, thank you very much. And I appreciate, again, you and your team and everything that you do to keep our municipality safe. And you mentioning that this is probably one of the busiest years that you've had.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm glad that we've got the crew that you have, and you all seem to get along really well and everything too, which is wonderful. And
no, we're very fortunate to have the crew we have now. It's excellent. So.
Well, good for you.
Thank you.
Any questions of the chief? Seeing none. Okay. Be it resolved that council receive the fire department update as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Bylaw office enforcement. Could I have a movement and a second to table the bylaw enforcement officer report from November 30th, 2025, log report, and the statement of revenue and expenditures as of November 30th, 2025. Movement and second. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Any questions on said reports? Seeing none. It's interesting, Lucas, it takes a long time to open up an attachment. It doesn't at home. In fact, it's not even opening it. There we go. Okay. Okay, be it resolved that council received the November 30th, 2025 and the December 31st, 2025 Tweed bylaw operations log as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the Animal Control Officer, December 2025 Animal Control and Livestock Investigation Reports? Mover and a seconder? Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any comments on said report? Okay. Seeing none, be it resolved that, oh, sorry, did you have one? Please go ahead.
Well, your worship, it's about that note I sent you there.
Well, that
What?
comes, that's later,
in there? I
that's
didn't
in
see
the,
it.
I asked the dog thing, it's in there, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
I didn't see it, sorry.
Oh, next meeting? Oh, because we didn't get it, it's on the next meeting,
Oh, okay.
okay? Sorry, I did send it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Be it resolved that council receive the December 2025 Animal Control and Livestock Investigation Report as presented. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table the Building Inspection Services Board December 2025 Building Permits Report and Statement of Revenue and Expenditures as of December 31st, 2025. Mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions on said reports? Seeing none, be it resolved that council receive the Building Inspection Services Board BSIB report is presented. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, now we have a whack of bylaws here. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2026-01, a bylaw to authorize borrowing when required to meet current expenditures during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026. This is a bylaw that we sign every year. Then move it a seconder, please. Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Any questions on said bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-01 to authorize borrowing when required to meet current expenditures during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026 be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a second to table bylaw number 2026-02? A bylaw to authorize the interim tax levy prior to the adoption of the estimates for the year 2026 and to provide for penalty and interest on unpaid taxes. A mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Any questions on said bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-02, authorizing an interim tax levy prior to the adoption of the estimates for the year 2026 and to provide for penalty and interest on unpaid taxes be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2026-03, a bylaw to convey certain property on Countryman Road for road widening purposes? Mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Any questions on said bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-03 to convey certain property in Countryman Road for road widening purposes be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Can I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2026-04, a bylaw to convey certain property on Moneymore Road for road widening purposes? A mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Any questions on said bylaw? Seeing none, be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-04 to convey certain property on Moneymore Road for road widening purposes be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2026-05, a bylaw to convey certain property to Hogsback Road for road widening purposes? A mover and a seconder, please. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Thank you, Deputy Mayor DeMarsh. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-05 to convey certain property in Hogsback Road for road widening purposes be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2026-06, a bylaw to convey certain property on French Settlement Road for road widening purposes? Mover and a seconder, please. Moving to thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Any questions on said bylaw? Seeing none, Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-06 to convey certain property on French Settlement Road for road widening purposes be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table bylaw number 2026-07? A bylaw to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw 2012-30 for property located at 6346 Highway 37. Moving a seconder, please. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Any questions on said bylaw? Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-07 to amend comprehensive zoning bylaw 2012-30 for property located at 6346 Highway 37 be read a first, second, third, and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, last bylaw. Can I have a bylaw? I'm moving a second for bylaw number 2026-08. A bylaw to authorize the municipality of Tweed to enter into a development agreement with 976777 Ontario Inc., Christopher Rajat and Leslie Rajat, files number B96/24 and B97/24. Moving a second. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Councillor Palmetier. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026. Any questions? What's the bylaw? Sorry. Seeing none. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2026-08, authorizing municipality of Tweed to enter into a development agreement with 976777 Ontario Inc., Christopher Rajat and Leslie Rajat, file number B96/24 and B97/24 be read a first, second, and third and final time, passed, signed, and sealed in open council this 13th day of January 2026. All in favor? Thank you. Items for consideration. Could I have a mover and a seconder to table Thomas McMillan, Clear Lane, Tweed, Ontario MZO application? Thomas McMillan made a delegation at the December 9th, 2025 council meeting requesting a support resolution for his proposed MZO application, de-risking Clear Lane and unlocking community value at no cost to taxpayers. Staff were directed to investigate the matter and bring a report back to council. The staff report is attached as an item for council consideration. I also noticed that everything that was previously tabled by Mr. McMillan was also included, as well as any additional correspondence up until such time as when this agenda was printed. Okay, could I have a mover and a seconder to get that on the table, please? Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Any questions on this particular request?
Yeah, I just, if I may, just show this to Lucas for a sec.
Sure, by all means.
Okay.
I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I read through this at pretty good length. I kind of disagree with some of the synopsis that the municipality was misleading in any way, and I think that needs to be reminded when you purchase a piece of land, the due diligence piece is on the purchaser, not the municipality here. It was clearly stated in the paperwork that a building permit was not available for this land. And, you know, whether in some of the language in limbo could suggest that you buying that land, if and its allowable uses, it could infer recreational camp, you know, not camping, but picnics or whatever. And a plan of subdivision doesn't guarantee that it's a buildable piece of land. It could be green space, it could be anything at that point. So, you know, and the other comment was made about, oh, it's LSR and it's buildable. Well, LSR is buildable only if it meets within the municipal requirements and conservation requirements. So I really take notion with the fact that if he didn't do his due diligence on that land, then that onus is on the purchaser, not the municipality, and it was clearly stated to do your own due diligence in that package. So I'm not going to support this.
If I may, over to you, if I could, Deputy Clerk or Wales. When we put up a package, which people can actually purchase as a land sale, do we identify a description about it? Like, do we say it's in a floodplain?
Right, through the mayor to all of council, I do have that tax sale package from the 2024 tax sale where this particular parcel on Clear Lane was sold. Yes, there is a entire section for each individual property. for this particular property on Clear Lane. As the deputy mayor had just highlighted, that information is provided with a property information form. We've seen some of this. It highlights that the property in this particular case for this particular parcel is fully enclosed in the floodplain, that it's not possible to obtain a building permit because of the floodplain. Is the property able to be rezoned subject to intent and purpose? The deputy mayor has highlighted some of those reasons as to why a property in that particular area may be able to be rezoned. But I will note that the package that was provided in 2024 also makes note that the zoning that's currently in place is the most applicable zoning for the access of that private road, and it represents the floodplain accurately based on Quinte Conservation data as well. So all of that information is pretty comprehensively listed in the tax sale package.
Okay, and there was also a question about residential taxation on that particular product. Is it, who determines what that taxation is? It MPAC or is it us?
So the value of the land that's been determined is determined by the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, MPAC. The municipality of Tweed does not determine the value of that land.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
And I think too, the thing that's getting lost in this whole thing is that just because it's LSR land, part that's getting lost, that same scenario could happen in a rural zone or a rural residential zone. You could have the same zoning and still not be able to build. So I don't think, because you can build an LSR if all the requirements are met. But you could have MXR across the road from a rural lot, which makes it inbuildable. You could have conservation land, you could have EP land. So the designation of the land to me is irrelevant. It's just within municipal and conservation guidelines.
And I think too, the other important thing here is that say even if we did support this, Quinte Conservation still has to rule on this, and ultimately they have the main voice on this. We did raise this when we met with them, and they did have concerns about, like, you know, developing this particular property from a residential perspective. So I am in sync with Deputy Mayor Marsh that this is not something I can support. Having said that, this does not mean that Mr. McMillan cannot proceed with his MZO and go directly on his own to the province to see if it can get passed. I think there was also a concern raised by CIO Diskey in our discussions too, that regardless, this area is prone to significant flooding. Councillor Fleeler just showed me a picture of someone in a canoe trying to traverse that particular area. If in a situation like that did happen, we are putting our emergency team, our emergency responders into jeopardy and trying to go and help somebody. Also, if there was also a situation where an ambulance was required. So these are concerns that we have, and we're not going to jeopardize our staff or county staff in this regard. So, but as I've said, Mr. McMillan asked us if we would provide a letter of support. We're saying, no, we do not feel comfortable. I'm saying I do not feel comfortable in providing such a letter of support. However, if he should want to proceed on his own, he's more than entitled to do so. And then the responsibility and liability then lies with the province, not with the municipality of Tweed. Any other comments? Yes, Councillor Fleeler.
Your worship, I also rode with a gentleman that lived down there. And in the spring of the year, on some occasions, he'd meet me out at the end of the road in a boat. And one year he had to move right out of there because the water was so high.
Yeah.
So it floods every year. And I just don't understand why anybody would want to do anything down in there, to tell you the truth.
Well, like we say, Mr. McMillan is entitled to pursue his MZO directly with the province. Yes, Councillor Palmetier.
Just briefly, your worship, just to kind of echo on what everyone's saying, the big significant difference for me was if that roadway stayed open. If the property had flooding periodically at times, there are plenty of seasonal homes that experience that are on stilts and that can be managed. But it's the fact that that road closes that makes it so difficult to support. So
thank you. Okay, well, thank you. Great discussion, everyone. As I said, Mr. McMillan, we're not saying he cannot undertake an MZO directly. That will be his choice. Okay, well, thank you. So be it resolved that council receive the request for the MZO application support resolution report as presented, and further, the council does not provide a supporting resolution for Mr. McMillan's minister's zoning order request, and further that staff are directed to correspond with McMillan regarding council's direction. Also, I just want to also say, I mean, there has been an awful lot of correspondence on this. I mean, staff have been overwhelmed. I think this will be our final direction to staff, and we don't respond anymore. And then it goes, like, you know, the proponent of this project proceeds directly to the minister to deal with it. Okay, I don't want us getting bogged down. It has been like hundreds of pages of stuff to review by staff. Okay, all in favor as discussed. Thank you. Quinte Conservation, could I have a mover and a seconder to table the Quinte Conservation correspondence from McNiven requesting a support resolution not consolidating the conservation authorities. Council directed staff to prepare a support resolution to be brought forward at a future council meeting for consideration. Could I have a mover and a seconder to get that on the table, please? Thank you, Deputy Mayor Demarche. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Now, Lori, it's this whole thing. Yes, okay. Ready? Here we go. Be it resolved that council adopt the following resolution. Whereas the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks has posted environmental registry notice number 025-1257, proposed boundaries for the regional consolidation of Ontario's conservation authorities, proposing to reduce Ontario's 36 conservation authorities to 7 regional entities as part of a broader restructuring that would create a new Ontario Provincial Conservation Agency to provide centralized oversight and direction under the Conservation Authorities Act. And whereas under this proposal, the Quinte Conservation Authority, QCA, would be merged into a new Eastern Lake Ontario Conservation Authority together with Central Lake Ontario Conservation Authority, Kawartha Region Conservation Authority, Otonabee Region Conservation Authority, Ganaraska Region Conservation Authority, Lower Trent Region Conservation Authority, and Crow Valley Conservation Authority, forming a single organization stretching from Oshawa, Kawartha Lakes, Hastings County, Tyendinaga, Mohawk Territory, and areas within Lennox and Addington. Whereas the Quinte Conservation Board and the Municipality of Tweed acknowledges and supports the provincial goals of improving efficiency, consistency, and fiscal prudence in conservation delivery, but find the proposed Eastern Lake Ontario Regional Conservation Authority configuration would create a geographically vast and administratively complex entity, joining northern, rural, and fast-growing southeastern municipalities through the province with little shared watershed connection or economic alignment. Dilute or eliminate a local accountability and municipal partnership, contrary to the municipal principle that decisions are best made closest to the communities they serve. Generate substantial transition expenses, including human resources, government's restructuring, IT, migration, and policy harmonization that would divert resources from frontline service delivery and delay measurable outcomes, contrary to the province's own business planning principle of value for money, cost containment, and service continuity, and risk greater uncertainty and delay for developers, builders, and farmers as local permitting offices and staff familiar with site conditions are replaced by distant regional structures, making it more difficult for applicants to obtain timely local advice, resolve condition issues, or expedite housing and infrastructure approvals that support the province's Build Faster agenda. And whereas the Quinte Conservation Authority has already undertaken significant modernization work aligned with the provincial objectives, including numerous internal reviews to identify opportunities for cost savings and efficiencies, including the consolidation of 3 local conservation authorities within the watershed into a single authority, conservation of redundant and non-mandatory positions to frontline mandatory service positions, improvements in transparency and client communications, strong local representation of all municipalities that reside within the entire watershed, demonstrating that meaningful modernization can occur within the current watershed-based governance framework, and whereas council recognizes that Quinte Conservation Authority serves a multitude of Eastern Ontario communities facing vastly different climatic, hydrological, and infrastructure realities, and being surrounded by the Bay of Quinte, Lake Ontario, and a number of local lakes, with properties subject to coastal erosion and flood-prone areas, which would be ill-served by a larger overarching administrative structure extending over more than 28,000 square kilometers. Therefore, be it resolved that the municipality of Tweed does not support the proposed Eastern Lake Ontario Regional Conservation Authority boundary configuration in Environmental Registry Notice 025-1257, and the Ministry of Tweed instead, oh my gosh, it's a go. The Ministry of Tweed still endorses further provincial evaluation of a more focused, specific model as a geographic, coherent, cost-effective, and locally accountable alternative that advances the government's priorities of efficiency, red tape reduction, and timely housing delivery. And the municipality of Tweed requests that the ministry engage directly with affected municipalities and conservation authorities across Eastern Ontario before finalizing any consolidation boundaries and legislative amendments, and that this resolution be forwarded to the Environmental Registry of Ontario consultations and to the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks and his opposition critics, MPP Tyler Alsop, Bay of Quinte, MPP Rick Bressie, Hastings, Livingston, Addington, Warden Bob Mullen, Hastings County, Chief Ardon Miracle, Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte, Association Municipalities Ontario, CAO Brad McNiven, Quinte Conservation Authority, Quinte Conservation Authority, and I'm going to add to Roma as well. Okay, did I do move in a second on that? I did. Okay, any questions?
You missed a whole paragraph.
No, I didn't. No, okay. Any questions? Seeing none. Okay, all in favor? Okay. So that's it. Okay, thank you. Wow. Okay, could I have a movement a seconder to table the regular council meeting date change? Description of bylaw number 2023-13 as amended, being a bylaw to govern the calling place and proceedings of meetings in the council of the municipality of Tweed, sets out that regular council meetings of council shall be held in accordance with the council meeting schedule as determined by council and passed by council resolution prior to the end of each calendar year. Request by the mayor has been received to change the date of the February 13, 2026 day time council meeting to January 27th, February 27th. Can I have a move in a second to get that on the table, please? Thank you, Councillor Pelletier. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Okay, the reason why that I put forward this request, firstly, it's been brought to my attention that Councillor Valiquette cannot make that meeting as well. And I planned my year in advance. And so before this, my year was based on our old schedule. Okay, so that I could be here for the meeting. And so now with our new schedule, it's shifted everything. So I'm requesting that we move it to the 27th or February 10th. I would prefer the 27th if possible. You do? Okay. Are we in agreement with doing that?
Yeah, I can't make the 27th.
Oh, you can't.
No.
And then you won't be able to make the 10th.
No, I can make that.
But-
It's just a prep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Fine.
So
Well,
what day is the February the
well,
10th?
Mayor, we still have quorum. Like, I mean,
What?
I mean, what was, I'm just on the rationale.
Well, no, because I want to be at the meeting and I scheduled my events based on the old schedule. So that's why I'm coming forth asking if I can move
Okay.
it. And I just want to, the 10th. I think Councillor Pump,
That's an evening meeting then? Or what?
no, that's a day meeting. Is it a day? I know.
Well, February 3rd.
Yes, it would have been
I
February.
think this is the old schedule I got here.
Okay. Okay, so, but do you have a conflict, you're saying, with February 27th? Sorry, January 27th.
Yeah, January 27th. I definitely can't make that one. I might if it was an evening meeting, but I can't.
Well,
if it's a day meeting,
Hmm,
and then there's still no guarantees.
okay.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, then let's move it to February 10th. Are we okay with that? Okay, okay, let me go back to the thing here. Be it resolved that council hereby amends the date of the February 3rd, 2026 regular council meeting to Tuesday, February 10th, 2026 at 9 a.m. All in favor? Thank you. Correspondence. Could I move in a seconder to table the correspondence information, please? Move in a seconder. Thank you, Council Palmetier. Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Okay, is there anything that anybody would like to pull out of the correspondence? I do have a number of the requests for support. I wanted to pull out 11-15.1, 11-15.2, and 11-15.3 to support.
I thought 11-2 was dead because of the meeting. It was already gone, right?
No, but I mean, it's a criticism of the
Oh,
decision,
yeah.
yeah, so I would agree to that. And the other one was a support for the steel and lumber sectors. And it's primarily too, because we have a big lumber contingent up in Bancroft area. And request for resolution criteria for site readiness funding. So is there anything else anybody would like to pull out? I also want to mention, I should, the Alto high speed, is that the email one that I put in there? No, that's the announcement. Okay, 11-16-11 was a correspondence that we received from Alto in regards to open house consultations. I expressed my concerns that we were not identified as a place for one of the public meetings. However, oh my gosh, what's her name, Jim? Yeah, oh gosh, that's terrible. She called me to
Yeah.
talk to me about it and indicated there would be more meetings and that they would really like us to attend if we can. And so I agreed that I would go to that meeting, and the one I'm going to is, sorry, let me just pull up here. I'll go to the probably the March 5th meeting. Yeah, March 5th in Madoc Township. Anyway, you all received it. So if you're interested in going, there's two meetings, one in Sterling on March 25th and one in Madoc Township on March 5th. So that was, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So Lori, how do we go with the three that I pulled out? Do we have a move in a second or any of those? Alexis, thank you. Thank you. She's going to be, oh, you're not going to Roma.
So we currently have the mover and a seconder for passing all of the correspondence, and I've taken out 11.15, 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
And then I just need a second set of movers and seconders to support those resolutions.
Okay, could I have a mover and a seconder to report the one for municipality of Magnetawan, Ontario for criteria for site readiness funding? Could I have a mover and a seconder? Okay, I don't see. Okay, the other one is the County of Brantford provincial decision on automated speed enforcement, and then the other is on the Township of Nairn and Hyman request for a support resolution report support for steel and lumber sectors. Could I move in a seconder for those? Thank you, Councillor Fleeler. Anybody else?
I don't like the speed camera one, but anyways.
Okay. Okay, what is it that you don't like about the speed camera one?
Oh, just the way they were being used in the past, so that's just me, that's personal preference.
Okay, so seconded by Deputy Mayor DeMarche. All in favor of all of those resolutions? Thank you. And if there's nothing else, then we'll go back up to correspondence. All in favor of the correspondence as tabled, does that matter? Okay, all in favor, thank you. And then no closed meeting. Could I have a move and a seconder for the conformatory bylaw? Thank you, Councillor Palmetier, and thank you, Councillor Fleeler. All in favor? Could I have a move and a seconder for the adjournment of today's meeting? Thank you, Councillor Palmetier, and thank you, Deputy Mayor Marsh. Be it resolved, Lori, that the council adjourn at. Thank you very much. All in favor? Wow, I